Hi, it's Vered from The Good Life Redefined, and today we're in an episode of Transformation. Top 7 motivational movies. Number 7, it's Freedom Writers. Erin Gruwell, Hilary Swank, arrives for her first day of teaching at Wilson High, a Long Beach school who has now been integrated with underprivileged boys and girls who use drugs, have served time in prison, and are very angry about living in a war zone where people are killed regularly on the streets. They rebel against learning and have little respect for the educational system. Erin tries to connect with her students by talking their language and by referring to cultural artifacts they are familiar with, but they immediately judge her as just another white person trying to make them over. Erin is determined to really teach her students. Despite the protest of the school's principal and her department head, she tries to introduce the diary of Anna Frank to the class, but her superiors shoot down the idea as too hard and complicated for the kids. She enlists the supports of the superintendent of schools and with her own money buys copies of the book for the entire class. This begins the process of opening the eyes of her students as she plants the seeds of learning tolerance in her gang-influenced teens. What makes this movie different than other inspiring teacher's story is the fact that it is all about recognizing that when it comes to being human, we are all the same. We all want similar things. We all want to be seen, to be safe, to be heard, and we all feel pain, joy, and love no matter what background we come from. It teaches that if you wish to be successful, you need to understand your audience. You need to know what they are facing, what are their challenges, fears, dreams, and hopes, and most of all, you need to listen with your whole heart to them. You need to care enough about them to understand their world. Number 6, Dead Poets Society. This is another movie about a teacher we all dream we could have had. But this one is not about the teaching, it is about the message we should all remember. In 1959, in an elite private school where tradition, conformity, and following the rule book is what expected from you, John Keating, Robin Williams, is the odd teacher. Keating is a progressive English teacher who harnessed the power of literature to open his pupils' minds. He tries to encourage his students to break free from the norm, go against the status quo, and live life unapologetically. He challenges them to dare and follow their dreams and not chase after what society has dictated for them as a measure of success. Dead Poets Society teaches us to undertake and lead a life of passion and conviction, being aware of the fact that in the story of our lives, the script is ours to write, but the ending has long been decided, and therefore, carpe diem, seize the day. Number 5, The Bucket List. The Bucket List tells the story of an unlikely couple who share the same room in a hospital where they are both being treated for cancer. Edward Cole, Jack Nicholson, and Carter Chambers, Morgan Freeman, would have never met in life as they come from two separate worlds, but fate brought them together as they both have only 6 months to live. With only 6 months to live, they decide to explore life and make a bucket list comprising all the things they have never tried before. Each man's list is typical of his character, but in the end, they experience both lists and manage to change and grow through this experience. The main lesson from this movie is the question of what would you do if you knew you have only 6 months to live? And the answer it gives is find your joy and make sure your life brings joy to others. It teaches about setting goals that would represent the values which are important for your life. Add to it great performances of Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and how can you not be inspired to go out and live fully? Number 4, The Blindside. This powerful drama tells the story of Michael Orr, a gigantic black teenager from impoverished West Memphis who accepted as a charity case by local Christian academy and taken in by a wealthy white family, becomes an All-America offensive tackle and was drafted in the first round by the Baltimore Ravens. The story is inspiring and involves sports, but to call it an inspirational sports story would be wrong. Its real center is Leah Ann Tui, Sandra Bullock, the strong-willed woman whose love and generosity helped turn a quiet, hopeless boy with no social or academic skills into a functioning young man with a promising future. It's a fantastic story about the power of giving. It hits pretty hard. It demonstrates that when we give without condition, we get much more than we ever expected. Number 3, The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith plays Gardner, a blue-collar guy who cares about standards. He complains about the misspelling of happiness on the mural near his son's play school. His wife leaves him and he and his boy are in desperate straits. Then Gardner, with his smart head for figures, manages to get an unpaid internship at a top brokerage firm. Fate has given him a kind of bridging loan between a grindingly poor present and a possible comfortable future. But as he studies, Gardner is thrown out of his apartment for non-payment of rent, and he and his boy have to spend the night at homeless hostels and even in a subway men's room. The movie is a manifestation of the basic element of any success in every area in life, which is nobody cares about doing your best. What would make the difference is doing whatever it takes to reach your goals. And that, never let anyone tell you what is possible and what isn't. Nothing is impossible when you're willing to do whatever it takes. Number 2, The Matrix. This one has become pop icon movie, but it still delivers us the message which is true for all times. With these words, Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, issues a wake-up call to computer hacker Neo, Keanu Reeves. The red pill will show Neo harsh reality because everything he thinks he knows is false, and that applies to us all. All of us consumers placidly sucking up the trance-inducing nonsense from the corporate political complex of the state and never stopping to ask ourselves, what is real and what is fake? We became slaves to our own mind and past beliefs. The Matrix is a call for all of us to seek the truth and wake up from our illusions about life. It is a call to free our mind and believe in possibilities. If ever there was a movie that combines spiritual awakening and great action movie, The Matrix would win hands down. And in number 1, in my opinion, is Pay It Forward. If there is one movie that managed to create a movement, carve a new term in language, and made a spiritual concept become a down-to-earth action plan, it's Pay It Forward. Trevor McKinney, Haley Joel Osment, is being challenged on the first day of school by Eugene Simont, Kevin Spacey, his new social studies teacher, who gives the class an extra credit assignment. Think of an idea to change our world and put it into action. While the rest of the class has trouble looking past the teacher's badly scarred face, Trevor realizes that he now has been given a moral adventure. He comes up with the idea of doing a good deed for 3 people, something they can't do for themselves, and then will ask each one of them to pay it forward by doing similarly difficult big favors for 3 others. Pay It Forward dares to boldly challenge us to reveal that kindness and putting others first are acts of moral beauty. It simply shows how each person can make a difference in the world by doing good, and it reveals that although we'll probably never know the effects of our acts of compassion, that's okay, because each act of kindness will create a ripple effect that we have no clue how far it would go. If each one of us would adopt this concept, we can easily and quickly create a better world. That's why it's number 1 on my list. So that's it. That's my 7 top inspirational movie. What do you think? Do you agree with my list? Did I miss any of your favorite inspirational movies? I'd love to hear from you in the comment box below. What are your inspirational movies? Don't forget to subscribe to our channels to get more episodes. And until we meet again, live fully, stay awesome from Vered in Tenerife.